very, very hard, but Golden Maktoum has done it again. Meydan presenting down out wider here from Guineas. Meydan coming away here in the final stages of the race, and J-Max strikes gold early in Dubai. Laurel River, will he get there? Maybe not. And away he goes. Westacre wins the Blue Point Sprint in style. Walk of Stars still with 2 lengths at bay, and it's back-to-back on-speed wins for Walker Stars. Romantic Warrior victorious here. Tours goes on and bolts in the El Shindagha.
Good evening, welcome to Meydan. It's the second of 4 big nights of racing at the Dubai Racing Carnival this season, which of course culminates in the 30th edition of the Dubai World Cup at the end of March. Tonight we have 9 races for you. We've got 4 Group 3s, 2 Group 2s and 3 Group 1s, including the Jebel Hatta and the Al Maktoum Challenge presented by Longines. The stars are out. It doesn't get any bigger or better than this. Here's your racecourse commentator, Pat Comerford, with all the details.
Mysterious Knight is a serious horse. Following his listed win last time out, he looks to go one the better in this season's edition of the Fahidi Fort. Cover-up was electric in the Ertajal Dubai Dash last start. He returns to the track here at Meydan over 5 furlongs in tonight's Blue Point Sprint. Some may say he could be the story of the carnival so far. Heart of Honour looks to find Jamie Osborne a return Group 1 winner in this year's edition of the Al Maktoum Challenge. Not sure we've got to the bottom of this horse yet. Opera Barlow, he is the short price elect on the international market in this year's edition of the Jebel Hatta. Having a look at tonight's schedule, a jam-packed card of group racing, 3 Group 1s, 2 Group 2s and 4 Group 3s on the program. Kicking off with the purebred Arabians in the Al Maktoum Challenge over 1,900 metres. The Firebreak at Group 3 over the mile on dirt. The Fahidi Fort over 7 at Group 2 level is race number 3. Back to the sprint trips for the next 2. The first on the dirt, the Shindagha Sprint over 6 on the inside track. Then we head to the straight 5 on the turf for the Blue Point Sprint. The Al Maktoum Challenge for 3.68 million dirhams is tonight's feature event, followed by the Jebel Hatta for 1.85 million, the 7th race. A jam-packed field in the UAE 2000 Guineas. A really nice race at Group 3 level over the mile on dirt, and we wrap it up with the stayers, the Khail Trophy at Group 3 level over 2,810 metres.
Welcome out to the Winner's Circle. I'm joined by your racecourse commentator, Pat Comerford, who you've heard from already, and by Cassie Fahy in between us, who is back again after being here for the Dubai World Cup last year. You're back for Fashion Friday. How are you?
It certainly was. And, of course, Fashion Friday. I wanted to be a part of this, so I was very happy to get the call up.
As far as nights go, I mean, the depth tonight is absolutely fantastic. All group races. It's this time of year, you don't get much better.
And it's really when we start to get ready for the Dubai World Cup, isn't it? Because, you know, we've had Festive Friday into the new year, and now it all just ramps up from here on in.
We've got some obvious candidates tonight, but as we know, it's never that predictable here.
Famous last words.
Well, Dubai World Cup night proved that, didn't it, Pat?
It does. It's one of those nights where, I mean, weird results can be thrown up. Previous seasons have shown that. More so than recent seasons. Looking at the SP prices from the last couple of years, we did have a few interesting results last year, but the market has really started to hone in on a few in various races tonight, almost as if they're, you know, already over the line. This season will tell us that that's not the case. We've had a bunch of strange results. A lot of favourites, short price favourites on the international market go down. So we'll be interested to see how they go tonight. But I think there's a lot where we're going to be all firmly in the same corner heading into the races, because there is a couple of horses that just jump off the page.
And we'll confirm our selections at the end of this preview for you. Race number 1 then is the Maktoum Challenge, round 2, presented by Longines for purebred Arabians. There's a bit of depth to this field. They include, most of them on page 1, first class Murad Unleashed, to some of those that leap off the page at you. That's your first 8. And then number 9 is Jafar, right the way through to horse number 16, RB Malexis. So let's have a look at first class, beating Jafar and Unleashed in the big one, Pat, the Dubai Khail Classic. This was a surprise on the night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's a horse that had won the race before. He'd had a couple of seasons where it was around the mark, but I guess the penny hadn't fully dropped with him once again. But I mean, these Arabians, they start to get a little bit older in their career, and they can all too often find a second breath of wind in their season. I mean, he's racing well. And I mean, he had 2 great runs at Abu Dhabi leading up. I mean, the President Cup probably wasn't the best result for him. It probably wasn't the ideal race for him as well. Getting back onto a preferred surface here in the dirt, I expect him to be running really well. And yeah, it's the first time we've seen him back here at Meydan since that win. And yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise to see him, going into a nice position from 1 and be in the finish here.
Do you think he'll fare better than he has the last couple of times at Abu Dhabi, Cassie?
Yeah, I think he starts to build throughout the season, right? So we actually almost don't want to see him peaking too soon, because it's in the latter stages of the year that he really comes to it. And that was a tenacious win that we just saw. He did so much work on that occasion.
I was massively impressed with Murad first up, beating Mubid out here. That was over the mile. Back form would suggest that the further distance Cassie is going to be no problem whatsoever. He's an unknown quantity out here, just a 6-year-old. That's still early stages as far as the purebred Arabian goes. He's my on-top selection tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to be agreeing with you there. He'll be on top for myself as well. Still a bit of a youngster, as you alluded to. That leg number 1 win was so good. I know the connections were absolutely thrilled with it. I think he's got a really good shot to make it 2 from 2.
Look, I mean, he was an unknown on the dirt last time out. His French form was good, but he's got the tick of approval here on the surface winning this race. So he's got to be given a fair bit of respect. My concern potentially being with him, and potentially, a couple of other runners in this race, is whether or not that run might have been a bit of a gut buster for him, and we'll just see whether or not he comes on from that. Whereas I'm sticking with first class here as opposed to you guys. I think he's the seasoned horse here. He's got great form from various seasons here, and I think that resume is going to see him coming into this race and peaking at the right time. But you can go with the 1, the 2, the 3. Vizier was a good winner. AA Lahab it's a big jump up in class for him, but he did everything he needed to from coming back from a long break off injury, and even Unleashed as well could very well come out and pick up another Group 1. But yeah, look, it's a really good race to start the night.
Race number 2 is the Firebreak Stakes. We're over the mile on the dirt. Again, presented by Longines. Thanks to Longines for supporting this evening's racing on Fashion Friday. And that's your fields. Not the biggest. We've got 7 in there. Fort Payne right the way through to Made in Dubai. And we're going to have a look at number 2, Commissioner King, beating Mendelssohn Bay and Mestri in the Al Maktoum Mile on this occasion. Commissioner King, who finished second. Obviously, Imperial Emperor took the race, Cassie, but he showed loads of early boot. I thought this was a really encouraging run, and I'm sure they'll try and do exactly the same. Tiger O'Shea on board, looking to dominate from 6.
It was a super run last time. He was really game. He's an ex-Saudi runner as well, only having his 4th run for Bupat Sema, so you'd expect even further improvement now that he is 4th up with the camp, and they're still starting to learn more and more about him, and I'm really excited to see how he goes tonight.
That was Mendelssohn Bay crossing the line in 3rd there, Pat, off the back of a good win ahead of Mestri. The consensus with Mendelssohn Bay, particularly when he did win and beat Mestri in the Dubai Creek Mile, was that he's a better horse this season compared to a slightly off campaign last year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times these horses can have those sort of lull seasons. I mean, I don't think it was a terrible year for him, but nevertheless, that first up win in the Dubai Creek Mile suggested that he was going to be, in for a big campaign this year. And I think the consistency is something that he has up his sleeve here. He seldom puts in a bad run, and that's going to see him in the finish here and giving a big challenge to a horse like Commissioner King. I like the fact that Bhupat Seema uses Sharjah as an opportunity to sort of bring these horses on. We saw Commissioner King go there last season. He decided to start off there this year as well. I mean, it's a great track. The surface is fantastic. Yes, the standard of racing drops a little bit, but Commissioner King came on so much from that first run. And I'm interested to see, he has a tendency to hang. That's why Connor Beasley stayed out 3 wide on him the whole way and didn't decide to cross over to the fence. So interesting to see the tactics they put in play here this time around, and whether or not they do decide to potentially kick up and find the rail with Commissioner King this time around. International market suggests that he's the one to beat.
Who do you think will win?
I'm with Commissioner King. I think there was a few things that went wrong last time out, and he was still able to run well. If you throw Imperial Emperor as a live chance in later on in the program, and you respect that form line, Commissioner King comes into this Firebreak and he comes into a much easier race. So if you respect that form line, Commissioner King's the one.
Cassie?
Yeah, I would agree that form behind Imperial Emperor, absolutely. Although I'm interested to see Mesh Tree and a little bit of a gear adjustment with the tongue tie going on for the first time. So just to see what happens there.
Yeah, and he was trying to give away some weight at the start of the season. I went with Mesh Tree last time and got it wrong. So obviously now I'm with Commissioner King. I hope that doesn't happen. But good luck to the team. Race number 3 is the Fahidi Fort. Commissioner King, a bit of a team's team in our second contest, which is the Firebreak. This is the Fahidi Fort, presented by Longines. We're over 1,400 metres and we're on the turf here. Right, there's a decent turnout for this contest. There's horses 1 to 8, which involve Mysterious Knight, Lethal Levi as well. Witness Dan Marban, those top rated in there. We go right the way through to horse number 15, which is Mountbatten. And we can start by having a look at Mysterious Knight, beating a few of these. Kanjar, Marban, Andreas Vesalius, Mountbatten, the Business Paid Challenge. Mysterious Knight, who managed to go winless here last year, having bumped into Marban a couple of times. I thought this was a really good performance. I thought it looked straightforward, and it wasn't the biggest winning distance. I think he had a little left at the line, personally.
Yeah, he did. He just hit that flat spot, but I mean, I don't think that was a fitness issue. I think he was, fit enough, obviously, and that was telling in the final 100 metres, where he was able to, eventually get to Kanjar's eye line and put the nose in front and win. So I think, that's just the way that he is. He may have that little bit of a lull period in the sort of later stages of his races, and maybe that extra run now might see him, be not experiencing that as much. So I'm expecting him to run a good race here. 1,400 metres here at Meydan, as we speak about all the time. It's such a tough distance to draw wide in, because you don't have much time before they do start to turn, and you can get flushed out quite wide. So if he's able to find a spot, in the running line, one off at least, I mean, he's got to be up to his neck in it, but the start is going to be crucial for him and where he finds himself.
Yeah, Marban won't be delighted, I think, with stall 15. Mysterious Knight, Cassie comes out of stall number 10. Do you think he'll back up?
Yeah, well, it's the widest gate that he's copped in a long time, actually. He was drawn far more cosily this time last year, but I do think he might just have that little bit extra this season, and he's going to turn the tables.
Whitney Stand comes here as a Group 2 winner. This came at Goodwood, at the Qatar Goodwood Festival. Glorious Goodwood. It wasn't necessarily this year. You can see they're kicking up a bit of mud on this occasion. The form, I think, has got a bit of depth to it. This was a defeat of Lake Forest and wasn't up to it, Cassie, at Group 1 level subsequent to this. But dropping back to a Group 2, this is perhaps a little bit more like it. That said, giving weight away to the likes of Mysterious Knight isn't going to be easy.
Yeah, and I think maybe this is just a nice little starting point for him, because Pat, he's going to Abu Dhabi for the big race.
Well, he's nominated, and I'd say there's interest there. That's the plan for him to head there. So, I mean, they'll want to be seeing a good run from him tonight. I don't think winning is everything here for them. They want to see him obviously acclimatise here well. He does go to a much smaller track than what he faces here tonight. It's going to be a very different style of race. So, if he's able to use this as a bit of a fitness builder and a launching pad towards the Abu Dhabi Gold Cup in early February. If that's where they decide to go, then I think we'll be hoping to see a good run from him here tonight. He'd want to be up in the mix for sure.
Are we all with Mysterious Night?
We are.
Goodness me.
Never thought we'd pick one from 10 over 1,400 metres and all be in the same corner, but yes, I'm there. Sure.
It's frightening. Potentially, it's genius, but who knows?
We'll see.
Unlikely. The Shindagha Sprint is race number 4 on the card. Once again presented by Longines. We're over 1,200 metres here, and we've got 6. Look, there's not necessarily any obvious absentees. Doc Saffron, who was so good on World Cup night, hasn't worked out since El Nasib Mufasa Drew's gold. Morning colour up, and we can start by having a look at El Nasib beating Mufasa, colour up, Dark Saffron in the Dubai Stakes. Now, I feel like whenever I watch him, Pat, I'm going, you can't always race like that here over 6 and win. But he has twice this season, so I don't know. He's tricky for me to select on top, but it'd be no surprise for him to win.
Yeah, look, I've got him on top. I mean, and the way in which he races in these events, you've got to sort of wonder, when does the end of the preparation come, and when's he going to start, not having that same electricity late that he's been showing his last few? Because you can imagine that it's taking a fair bit out of the horse in doing so. But he faces a very similar field here, and under the conditions of the race, none of these get any benefit on him. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him just come out and do it again. It's hard to be tipping him as a confident prospect in the race just with that racing style. You never know how it's going to end up. But I mean, he's had Mufasa and Dark Saffron's measure the last 2 starts, and colour up as well. I think he picks himself again here. It's hard not to be with him. You guys gone elsewhere here?
Cassie?
No, I'm going El Nasib. Low mileage. His racing style isn't conducive to longevity, but he is low mileage, and 3 on the hop. Can he make it 4 on the trot? Well, his confidence will be sky high.
Before I put you out your misery and tell you who I've gone for, it's not El Nasib. I want to have a look at Drew's Gold, the other Triple R horse in there, the mount of William Buick, beat Echo Point when the mount of Tygo Shea. Look, first start for this yard. A defeat of Echo Point, I don't think can quite match up to the horses that El Nasib has beaten, but he's well worth his go back up in grade, surely, Cass.
Yeah, I thought he pinched a nice win last time out, and it was so good to see him back in winning form. He was 3rd in this race last year. It's a small field, so he's not going to be far away at all.
That was a pretty conclusive success, and he's going to have an impact on how the race is run too. You imagine that Dark Saffron is going to go forward out of 2, and they're not going to change that. Look, we were all here World Cup night when the horse won. I'm with Dark Saffron tonight because they're changing something. If they weren't changing anything from the last 2 runs, then I wouldn't be. But the tongue tie goes on and the visor goes back on. That was on for the success at the start of the season. And again, if he hadn't won this season, I'd think, well, he's a bit of a busted flush. But I'm willing, given that they're trying something, he is a kilo better off with El Nasib. I thought he's just worth having one more go at, given the changes they've got. Could be barking up completely the wrong tree, but you're not a World Cup winner and winning at the start of the season if you haven't got anything left.
You don't have 2 blunders after winning World Cup night and have everyone completely jump off you. I think he deserves respect every time he steps out. At the end of the day, regardless of the blunders, El Nasib's beaten him the last 2 starts, and Dark Saffron still rates higher than him. That's going to show you that when he puts his best foot in, he's a force to be reckoned with here. And if he finds an uncontested lead, which he hasn't the last couple of starts, we may see that Dark Saffron of the end of last season and just see him kick away and win. Wouldn't be shocked.
Race number 5 is the Blue Point Sprint, presented by Longines. 850,000 dirham on offer here for race number 5. We're obviously over the straight 5 for this Group 2 contest. Blue Point, who was such a champion, won twice in the same week at Royal Ascot a few years back. This is your field. Good old West Acres back cover up. We go through to Echo Point, horse number 8, and then we've got a couple more as well. Swift Asset, The Man, and Hilitani, who ran with credit last time, the 3-year-old behind owner companion Flying Comet. So let's have a look at, first of all, cover up in the Ertijal Dubai Dash, beating Swift Asset Pontos. Now the key thing here, Cassie, is that West Acre was meant to line up and didn't run, was scratched on this occasion because of the rain that they'd had. Cover up, I felt, on account of that, sort of picked himself. but he did bump into Westacre when Westacre was getting the allowances last year a few times. Cover Up was impressive here.
Yeah, last start, track and distance win, always a big tick. Third in this race last year. The team's having another great season, that of Simon and Ed Crisfords. So he's in my top 2, but he's not my top 1.
Are you Westacre on top?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
okay. Well, save it.
Controversial.
I genuinely thought this would be. Are you Westacre or Cover Up? One or the other?
Cover Up.
Okay, you're Cover Up. Good. Me too. Let's have a look at Westacre doing what he does best. I was inclined to mark him up as a 3-year-old doing what he did last year. Now I'm not so sure. Those allowances maybe. Maybe he took advantage of that, as had previously a Godolphin filly the previous year getting all the allowances as a 3-year-old. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of benefits he had coming here as a 3-year-old last time out. Obviously getting him down in the weights and stuff. 61 kilos over 1,000 is it's a whole different kettle of fish to carrying 55 and below. I think they targeted the races very well here last year. They had a horse that was well in with the conditions, and he's utilised that to his advantage. I'm not entirely sold that his lead-up races in the UK, he ran second at Dundalk there to Spartan Arrow, who he faces here again tonight. And even those lead-up runs as well, I mean, that run at Southwell, he went around a short quote, and unfortunately under Ross Orion, he wasn't able to win either. I don't think I've seen enough from him to say that with Cover Up, who is... everything's gone to plan so far. Unlike Westacre, who's having a delayed start to his campaign here in the UAE with that scratching, he's got that run under the belt already, and that's going to see him a fitter horse, more ready to go. And I mean, Westacre could come out and win here, and I'll have egg on my face. But at the end of the day, I think that run in the Erdajal Dubai Dash and that win in the Erdajal Dubai Dash is going to see Cover Up with a really good advantage for these horses that are up in weight. And I know who Cassie's selected, and she's gone the other way for a horse who's down in weight, and I don't entirely think she's completely wrong. I would have your selection, who you'll mention, as a better chance than Westacre in the race.
You're not completely wrong.
Hilitani.
Congrats. Go on.
So exactly the same formula that Westacre used last year. Low weights, utilising those benefits. Why not?
Yeah, and
George Bowie, Richie Mullen.
And there was a bit of buzz coming into the race last time when he was behind a couple of nice Godolphin horses and Flying Comet, but maybe he'll just take a step forward for that. Can see it. Race number 6 is the Al Maktoum Challenge. I can't wait for this. Like, these are the horses that you want to see on Dubai World Cup night, and the fact we get to see Walk of Stars against Imperial Emperor and Heart of Honour, no disrespect to any of the others, is hugely exciting. And don't forget Artorias, who ran really well behind our Heart of Honour last time. Kabir Khan, well, has the back class. And there's Mazmak completing the lineup. Right, Cassie, let's start with Heart of Honour, beating Artorias, a tiring Walk of Stars, Remorse, and Kabir Khan. I took the view on this night that Walk of Stars would dominate and would stay there, and it wasn't to be. I thought the warning signs were out turning in, and Heart of Honour got a great ride, perfect ride for him, staying on down the outside.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking the same thing with Walk of Stars last time out, but Heart of Honour, he's just such a lovable horse, isn't he? He's kind of like all of us. Yeah, you just want to do as much as you have to when you're at the gym kind of thing, and he's been described as lazy or laid back. Jamie Osborne came out and said that he thinks this horse is going much better into this race, and he actually needed that run. Despite winning, he wasn't at his best, and he did utilise that 3 kilogram swing against Walk of Stars, and I think maybe that just might make it a bit trickier for him this evening, though. That's my only thing.
I don't know whether or not Bhupat Seema was fully aware of whether or not Walk of Stars was as underdone as he was. I don't think he was entirely underdone, but he was on vapours at the 400. I really thought they were probably of the opinion he was going to run a bit more genuine than he did and just be in the finish. And look, he did kick back once Artorias did head him and run a really good race. But look, I think they probably expected more from him. I think most people expected more from Walk of Stars. So,
are you surprised that Tiger's chosen Walk of Stars?
No, not at all. I mean, Richie has had a good association with Imperial Emperor. He's ridden the horse on a number of occasions. I think leading into this, Walk of Stars is probably going to come on from that event. I I think we're going to see a much better version of Walk of Stars here tonight. That run.
He chose Imperial Emperor on the World Cup.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, he has ridden him in the World Cup, but I think Walk of Stars is probably the better horse to be picking here in these lead-up events. I agree with Tig's decision there. Heart of Honour, I was totally against last time out, and I'll put my hand up and say I didn't consider him up against genuine Group 1 horses here on dirt. He was up against it, and I think he's going to face a fitter Walk of Stars here tonight, but you can't knock him and say that, you know, he didn't just, you know, turn heads completely and say, you know what, this is a serious horse and he's up to the task here tonight.
Well, you know what Walk of Stars is going to do. You know what likely Heart of Honour is going to do, and Imperial Emperor will be in the middle of them after the first 200 to 400 metres. Actually, probably a little bit more forward than that, Cassie. He did race handy enough last time, and I thought this was pretty dominant. I was quite impressed just with the manner in which he went about it off the back of a disappointing run on World Cup.
Yeah, and a little bit of a baddish draw this evening. Hops second to the outside. Imperial Emperor, he delivered in the Maktoum Mile last month, and Richie knows this horse. He's ridden this horse so many times before. He puts himself in the race, so you almost know what you're going to get with him.
Who are you with, Pat?
I'm with Heart of Honour tonight. I've completely flipped the script.
Is that why you're wearing that suit?
Maybe.
There's a bit of the maroon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm with Heart of Honour tonight. I think Walk of Stars and Imperial Emperor are going to be each other's worst enemy in this race as well. I think, to be honest with you, Imperial Emperor from the draw has to kick up a little bit further in front than where he would normally be. And I see them up against each other, matching motors for a chunk of the race. So the pace will be genuine enough, and I expect Heart of Honour to relish that. So, you know, I didn't have too much of an opinion of the race. I thought there was probably, you know, a couple of horses that were sort of even Stevens in regards to their chances, and as a result, I thought Heart of Honour could be the one to relish it. So I'm with him.
Walk of Stars for me to bounce back.
I agree. The horse that kept Walk of Stars honest didn't hail from Bhupat Seemar's yard in the last race, and I can't believe that Richie Mullen and Tiger Share are going to conspire against themselves. Bhupat's got so many in there.
But for 3.68 million. You know, every rider and every ownership group is going to be completely in this for themselves. There's going to be no, oh, that's the stablemate, I might, you know, not sit in his eye line or anything like that. Every runner here wants to win this race, and they are going to be bigger detriments to themselves and to each other than they're going to be friends in this race. So Heart of Honour potentially gets the run of the race here in behind, which I think the pace will be pretty quick.
Race number 7 is the Jebel Hatta, presented by Longines, 1,800 metres on the turf, the traditional Dubai turf trial, but a Group 1 in its own right, of course. There's your 6, Opera Ballo through to Va Fortino, and Opera Ballo is the obvious place to start. Some idiots went against him last time, including me. Goodness me, what was I thinking? He was dominant. I thought he was just electric here, and he comes out here with a pretty lofty profile, but yeah, he's going to be tough to beat, Cassie.
Yeah, I don't want to be unoriginal here, but I don't think anyone can beat him. This is him getting his Group 2 win last month. He's a dual listed winner already. He gets his Group 1 tonight.
Pat?
Yeah, did everything you needed to see from a horse who I think has still got more in the tank than what we've been able to see so far at the races. I think there's still more gears there if required to use them. And look, I mean, I don't think Nation's Pride's going to lay down easily here. I think if there is a horse that can potentially cause some concern here for Opera Ballo at a particular stage of the race, it's Nation's Pride from 1. I think he'll be up on the running rail and popped off at the right time. Mikhail Barcelona has a good tendency of spoiling the party on the second stringer on a number of occasions with Godolphin. He's been doing it for years, and it wouldn't shock me to see Nation's Pride run a good race. But yeah, I mean, even if Nation's Pride, I wouldn't be shocked if Nation's Pride came out and ran well, but you can't not pick Opera Ballo in this race. He's just the X-factor horse, and yeah, I think he's on to bigger and better things once he comes out here tonight and wins the Jebel Hatta.
Holloway Boy has gone close here a few times. He ran on World Cup night, and hopefully he'll be back there again this year in the Dubai turf. And he's had one go so far this season out here, but you know, look, he's rated 113. He's just a bit off the likes of Opera Ballo, Cassie.
Yeah, he is, and that was him first up after over a year, 13 months I think it was, so he's going to come on plenty from that. He's just a good, honest trooper that is, I mean, let's face it, all 6 of them are going to pick up some prize money, so they're all very well placed in behind this favourite, Opera Bello, but he's just a good, honest contender that won't be far away.
Yeah, and it only takes one horse to disappoint, and you never know. If Opera Bello does, then it does open it up a good bit. We're all with Opera Bello. There we are. Race number 8 is the UAE 2000 Guineas, presented by Longines, 1600 metres on the dirt for this contest. A couple of pages as you would expect to look at. I'll just pick out obvious ones. Devon Island and 6 Speed, Union Security, Brotherly Love was excellent last time. And the likes of Lino Pedrino. And then all the way through to Senator of State, who is horse number 14, and Yamdik, horse number 16. Let's have a look at 6 Speed beating Legalised, Union Security, Navagaderas and Al Kawanij. I mean, I thought this was a bit of a surprise, Pat. I don't know. I had big hopes for a few of the others, but look, he's been excellent. Mikhail Barcelona on board tonight.
And purchased off the back of it as well. New owners for tonight's racing. So
what do you make of jockey bookings?
I can understand why Ty decided to stick with Lino Pedrino. I think that they were of the opinion that the horse just unfortunately cost itself the race just by the start. Unfortunately, they picked their runners before the draws come out. Whether or not he would have picked it if he knew that he had 16, I'm not too sure. But in saying that, I think 6 Speed has got a good opportunity here to continue on with it. Mikhail Barcelona is a great pickup in the race. I expect him to run a good race. I was of the opinion that he was a genuine sort of 6 furlong, 7 would be pushing it, and now he heads to 8. So, I mean, will he see out the trip? And I think that's another factor as to whether or not, Tiger O'Shea's decide to opt with it. But I'm with none of them here. I've flipped the script here again. Never in my life have I gone with the Southern Hemisphere breds here. After Autobahn and Oasis Boy couldn't get the job done in recent seasons, I always thought this penalty's too severe and there's no way that they can come out and win these races, these Southern Hemisphere breds. But
you're with Legalised then.
I'm with Legalised here, and Cassie and I are Southern Hemisphere breds ourselves, so got to be in the corner of the Southern Hemisphere bred here tonight. He was impressive last start, Tom. I was so happy to see him run a good race. The way he cornered into the race, he's obviously felt a bit wanting there at the end, but that was obviously just the weight advantage. But he comes into this, he gets a fair bit better here. He's 62 down to 60.5. It's going to make it a little bit easier for him. And I think now with a look at the track, he's right into this.
Let's have a look at Devon Island beating Brotherly Love and Don Bellicano. I'm with Devon Island, who I thought raced really professionally, has finished ahead of Brotherly Love a few times, and the form has been franked. And I quite like stall 10 for the horse. Look, he was drawn lower last time and got handy, but I think he'll just come over and slot over, hopefully, and get a nice similar sort of run to this, Cassie.
Yeah, we'll get a nice amount of time to do so. He's 2 from 2, so both here, both at the mile, and that brings the question into 6 Speed, stepping up in distance. So I was actually going between 6 Speed and Devon Island. I think now that I'm sitting here talking with you guys, I'm not sure why I'm going 6 Speed, because now I want to change it to Devon Island after just watching that.
Too late, sorry. Can't happen. Too late.
Fine, I'll stick with 6 Speed.
Well, you might be. Listen, you might well be right with 6 Speed.
What do they say? Never change your bets.
Yeah, they do. They do. And Brotherly Love, who ran really well last time, they were umming and ahhing about this race, and they did it last year as well, with whether they were going to come here with this horse's half brother, who we've already had a look at tonight, and they did, and the horse ran really well. I'm surprised he's here.
I just think the map gets him beat. A full field here.
Out of 3.
Full field, yeah. I mean, out of 3, I don't think he's got enough speed. I think they'll burn across here, and I think even from 3, if he shows us enough tenacity early as he did here in this start where he won and found a good spot on the rail, he's probably 3 or 4 back the fence. And he's going to have to get out and get that clear running.
They talked about him needing time, and he probably goes straight to the help me out, the key Derby trial. But I don't know. Here they are.
Yeah, well, I read that they thought that after that Meydan win, they were going to tip him out for a little bit, let him grow, but he just came back so well that they continued to persevere with him, and here he is tonight. So you think traffic jams for Run?
Yeah, I just think these big fields,
yeah.
16 horses on this dirt track, it's a lot of runners, and as much as you need to be in the race as well, if you're back in the field, the gates make it very, very hard for you to get that luck, and you do require all that luck. So there's a few here that I've put a line through simply just because I think they'll be too far back, and they need a miracle to get through.
3 different selections going up in that contest between us then. The Khail Trophy is race number 9, the last contest, Group 3, presented by Longines. We're over 2,810 on the turf. Meydan was good last time, and we're going to have a little look at that. We're beating Burdett Road. That was 21 days ago. Epic Poet's got good form out here. We go through to Nightwalker, who is horse number 8. Meydan then beating Nightwalker, Goya Sonora and Kiava. Incidentally, if Kiava wins, that will be Adrian Keatley's 8th success from 8 runners. The man is absolutely flying. Meydan then was, very impressive on this occasion. He comes here, Cassie rated 112, and I thought he was the one to beat.
Yeah, well, he was the one to beat last week after that Melbourne Cup. You wouldn't call it a failure. Things just didn't pan out according to plans. That over the 2 miles, the 2,800 metres, there's going to be no problemos, and he was so good. Look at him rattle home, and Meydan in the get out here at Meydan. So I know it's cheesy, and it's just going to happen again.
Yeah, so that was Epic Poet, my bad. Epic Poet, who's got great form out here and lines up with just a little bit off it as far as Meydan goes. This is Meydan's success, and Meydan beating Nightwalker, Goya Sonora and Kiava. And you can touch on both of them, Pat, Epic Poet and Meydan. It was between the two of them for me, but I've gone with Meydan.
Yeah, I was a bit more clear-cut towards Meydan, to be honest. I think this is my outside look. I mean, we can all tip Opera Barlow as probably the best chance of the night, but I made this horse my nap. I thought the natural progression we're going to see him have from that start, where he just visibly looked to have so much more in the tank. James Doyle had a handful of horse there, even with 200 metres left to go, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him to blow this field away here tonight. Pretty confident that he's going to be able to go on with it here. And yeah, I mean, you look at his Australia runs. I mean, he ran into a Flemington soft 7 track. It's pretty heavy for that time of year. And obviously, when you get that rain pretty close to race day, it's not something that happens. It can be pretty bottomless. So back onto a dry surface here, we saw him go really well, and I expect him to go just as well here now that he's had that run. On that stable, though, I just want to mention it. What an amazing story to have West Wind Blows back at the races here. I know he's had a couple of starts in Europe, but 2 years off the scene, coming back here, he was another horse like Meydan who had that sort of Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup campaign, and he was close there. And I mean, he's a genuine stayer, and it's good to see him back. And they've obviously got him going very well.
Yeah, they produced some excellent horses out here so far this season. Meydan.
Can I give an honour? No, I am.
Yeah.
I just want to give an honourable mention to Goya Sonora. Start 64, 64 starts. I enjoy seeing horses like that. Obviously still enjoying racing, and he's a Group 2 winner. I can't wait to see him tonight for the first time.
Okay, there we go. I hope we have found you some winners. We'll do our best to remind you of who we've selected before each and every race, so you know who to avoid. But yes, some of them naturally pick themselves tonight. We will be, after our Group 1s, bringing you some analysis on the big screen from our excellent World Feed team. They are Nick Lightfoot and Angus McNay.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. This is one very, very special race night, and there are, high stakes off the track, of course, with the Star Stakes going on, and also when you think about some of the horses that are going to strut their stuff, Angus, over the next few hours or so, and ramifications going forward for March the 28th, the Dubai World Cup night.
Nick, we are set fair for a fantastic night of action. The Jebel Hatta is the best race on the card as far as I'm concerned, because it has the best horse at the meeting running in it. Opera Barlow is a superstar. He's a world-class racehorse who's beginning to get his act together. He used to be a little bit keen. He did things badly, really, inside out, if you like. But now he's settling. He's relaxing, and when he won here last time, he quickened like a wild horse. 2 sub-11-second furlongs to put the field to bed, and I expect that we will be analysing similar fractions here later on.
This magic screen will be putting Opera Ballo and Co. to good use in the Jebel Hatta. Might he be the first ever winner for Charlie Appleby in the Dubai Turf in a few weeks' time? Let's get through today first. The top race on the dirt to look forward to is the Al Maktoum Challenge. It's a guaranteed win and you're in for the 30th running of the Dubai World Cup on the 28th of March. Heart of Honour up against 6 for Bupat.
Yeah, it's a real Bupat sandwich for Heart of Honour, isn't it? And Heart of Honour is going to struggle this time. I know he managed to beat Walker Stars last time up here on the dirt, and he's been a revelation for Jamie Osborne. But Walker Stars, I think, needed the run, and I think he'll be away and gone out in front. Heart of Honour's late running style will get him there now and then, but not every time, and I think he'll get onto the scene a bit too late this time.
And I murmured this earlier, but it's almost a cooling evening. There's not too much wind out there. It feels perfect. No excuses territory out on the track tonight.
Beautiful surface out there, particularly on the turf, I think, where they've racing at full width. So we've got fresh turf down towards the inside, and as ever on the dirt, pace on the rail is king.
Plenty to come from us for the big 2 races, the Group 1s, the Thoroughbreds later. We want to see stars, and might Opera Ballo be just one of them?
Forward to hearing from the team after those big races tonight with all the analysis on what happened that you should need. Right, let's go through our selections, Cassie.
Race 1.
You're 9. No, all 9 of them. Please.
Okay.
What have we got?
Yep, I'm going with 2, Murad. I just liked his leg number 1, Maktoum win, so he can do the double for me. Commissioner King in race number 2. Mysterious Night for the 3rd race, race 3, number 3. Al Naseeb, I'm big on him in the 4th of the evening. Now, Hilatani, he's my curveball value runner of the evening because he gets in 55 kilograms. He's doing the same thing that Westaker did last year. Walker Stars to bounce back. He'll be my top pick in the 6th. Opera Ballo, I know everyone's talking about this horse and I want to be a part of that. 6 speed in the 8th race, and Meydan in the get out.
And a few that Pat agrees with, and me too, Pat.
Yeah, not too different. Look, I'm with First Class. I think he'll be relishing back to the dirt here. Commissioner King in the Firebreak. Mysterious Night in the Fahidi Fort. Al Naseeb to do it again. Cover Up. I really like him in the Blue Point Sprint. I think he'll be winning. Heart of Honour. Then to Opera Ballo. I think everyone's in that corner. Legalized is my value for the night, potentially my each-way play. And Meydan in the last looks to be, outside of Opera Ballo, my nap.
And I have gone with Murad in the opener, Commissioner King, Mysterious Night, Dark Saffron to bounce back with the visor back on, Cover Up, Walker Stars, Opera Ballo, Devon Island. Hopefully it's a good night for Charlie Appleby and William Buick, and Meydan in the last. There we are. Pat will be up to the commentary box soon enough, and Cassie and I will be taking you through the entire evening from down around here, around the winner's circle and the parade ring. Get your Dubai World Cup tickets. You need to be here for the 30th anniversary. We're not exactly certain who's going to line up, but please get Sovereignty here 30 years after Bill Mott won it with Cigar. That'll be magic in the Godolphin colours as well. So we'll see if that happens, but you need to be here. It's going to be a huge night of racing, potentially the biggest ever out here. All right, we hope you all have a very successful evening. We are not too far away from race number 1. Tygo O'Shea joins me outside the weighing room, and hey, you got a lovely few chances tonight. I mean, just all in, what do you make of the night as a whole, Ty?
Look, it's a brilliant night's racing. It's like a mini World Cup night, and all the top horses have stood their ground, both in dirt and turf. So hopefully, a very exciting night's racing ahead.
You had a choice between loads of them in the challenge, but I guess the two top ones. Walk of Stars Imperial Emperor, I guess, was a bit of a toss-up, was it?
Yeah, look, they ran 1-2 last season in the same race, so it's never easy. And look, obviously Imperial Emperor was very good on his return in the Maktoum Mile, and Walk of Stars probably just needed his first run back, and he carried a Group 1 penalty in there as well, so he'll strip a lot fitter. And yeah, look, the yard hold a lot of strong chances, you know. I think they field 6 in the race, so yeah, Boop will be happy.
Yeah, we had a little debate on, you know, it's a rich race with lots of different connections, but equally, you know, none of Boopat's horses are going to want to hinder another one's chances, if you like. You know what I'm getting at. I'm going to be interested to see where you all are after 400 metres.
Yeah, they're actually, he has 6 in the race, but they all have their different running styles, so yeah, you know, I'm sure we'll try not to get in each other's way, of course, all different connections, but it promises to be a very good race, and we've huge respect for Heart of Honour. You know, he's on an upward trajectory, and but looking forward to taking him on again.
The Osbornes winning the last time I was here, they won the first couple of races, nearly took the first 3. I think that's been a bit of a story the last few seasons. It's great with these international challenges that they pose such a threat to you guys.
Yeah, look, Dubai.
Well, it's great for us.
Yeah, great for you. Yeah, Dubai Racing Club they've done a fantastic job assembling so many international horses. I've never known it to be as competitive. There's well over 100 international horses here this season, which, you know, it's very, very healthy for racing in the UAE. And hats off to Dubai Racing Club and the team for assembling so many top class animals here in the Middle East.
Most likely winner for you on the night, do you feel? I know that's putting the microscope on one, but what does your gut say?
Look, of chances, look, obviously it's a bit of a soft spot for Walk of Stars. I do think he'll step forward for his run. He's off level weights tonight. You know, it's very difficult to give away 3.5 kgs to horses like Heart of Honour having your first run up. So he's going to strip a lot fitter. But look, if you gave me one now, I'd take it with both hands. It's a super competitive night.
Good luck. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, Cassie and I can spin you through these ahead of the Al Maktoum Challenge. Round 2 presented by Longines, Group 1 worth $500,000 dirham. First class is number 1, won the Khail Classic in fine style. Has run with credit in turf races at Abu Dhabi the last couple of starts, and has definitely been building throughout the season. The big targets remain tonight and World Cup night.
Runner number 2 is Murat. This one, a former French runner. Yes, Racing has brought this one across. Majid Al-Jahuri does train, and well, he looked smart in his UAE debut. He fought tooth and nail for that victory, and he deserved it. He took out that leg one, that race one of the Al Maktoum Challenge for the purebred Arabians, and this is the second race of it, and I think he's a really good chance to make it 2 from 2.
This is number 3, that is Vizier. Tiger Shea takes the ride from Musaber Al-Meheri. Was well behind first class on World Cup night, but ran really well in Group 2 company at the start of December when winning here. And just 6, he's definitely got age on his side. Vizier, not too much to find with the principals.
A.A. Lahab is runner at number 4. Now this one's only very lightly tried, 7-year-old he is. Sam Hitchcock will ride for Anthony Gamble, and well, he was behind runner number 3, Vizier, last time out, in for 3rd placing. Very lightly tried, as I said, so I wonder what did happen, but that was a really good return to the racing last month, and an enviable strike rate of 3 wins from the 4 starts. It's hard to ignore. When he is right, he can be right on his game.
Yeah, when this horse is right unleashed, he's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's a top-level winner. It hasn't quite worked out subsequent to that win here in this last year. Was beaten by stable companion Meydan behind first class and Vizier the last couple of starts. So we're a bit unsure where we are, but on his day, he's very capable.
Nassif, if you're looking towards that form in behind Vizier, well, he was second behind that runner last time out. He led inside the last furlong and he was just beaten, so he showed some tenacity. He needs to show that again tonight.
There's the horse behind, that is Joe Star. He's got plenty of size about him, this grey gelding. He was over the mile last time in the race won by Murad. Look, wasn't too far away, was back in 3rd. So he's got a bit of form to find. Taking on the likes of Al Ghadir on the turf at Longchamp was always going to find life tricky. Just 7, it's early days out here for him.
RX Burners runner number 8. He draws a wide gate in the 12. He's looking around a little bit, but he looks pretty relaxed at the same time. And he's been consistent, 2 lengths beaten last time out, and a decent pickup ride for Daniel Tudhope.
We'll do our best turnout awards soon enough, which has incidentally gone to horse number 2, so we will get there for Murad. But this is Jafar, who has been pretty highly tried in top-level company. And look, got some really good form in there behind the likes of Al Ghadir at the Qatar Goodwood Festival over the summer. Was behind Murad last time, rated 112, has been higher than that in the past. Maybe this horse is just slightly on the downgrade now. Kieran Schumacher is on board.
Runner number 10 and Al Moatasem Al Balushi just hops on board. The Omani, who's been here before, he does get the visitors draw though, the visitors car park draw, which is going to make it tough for the 10 Falah.
They're making their way out then. So this is number 11 on the horse walk on the way out. Hamid Al-Basaidi is on board. And Bakir, look, rated 105. He's definitely got something to find, but arrives here in form with that success last time. And he's an unknown quantity out here is Bakir. Will emerge out of stall 4 and will probably want to get out pretty handy and not receive a lot of kickback in his face when tackling this surface.
12, Hiyab Al-Zamani. He's one of the 2 9-year-olds here in the race, the other being first class. His campaign started very promising, but he's just gone off the boil maybe a little bit in the last 2 runs. He cops a wide alley as well. He'll have to bounce back to some of that more promising form that he showed earlier in this season.
13 is Tarek, who's going the right way. Ray Dawson on board. Was well held over the 1.5 miles at Abu Dhabi last time, but that was off the back of a success there. That was in a 0 to 95. So this is pretty lofty company now for Tarek and needs to prove himself on this surface. Stall 15 won't help.
14 is Tarweesh, and this one another with low mileage. He might only be a one-time winner, but he's only had the 7 starts, and he's actually trialled since that last start victory at Al Lane, so that might just be a bit of a confidence booster.
Here's 15, that is Takdir, will emerge out of stall number 13, behind Murad when last seen and pretty well behind as well. Rated 105, obviously has quite a lot to find, and she's yet to prove up to this sort of quality. but you can see why she's lining up here. It's the right race to try and get in the mix, but yeah, it's going to be up against it. For all last time, it's probably a little bit too short for her.
And lucky last, RB Alexis, well, raced in the Khail Classic last year when finishing 11th. He's an ex-USA horse, most recently France with Xavier Thomas Demult. He's certainly been there and done it all.
Time for the Best Turned Out Award then. It's a bumper night of racing. 750 dirham going to the winning groom for the Best Turned Out horse. That is Murad here, the Best Turned Out winner. Well done to him and well done to the winning groom. And that is Banjar Singh. Banwar Singh takes home 750 dirham. And it's being presented on behalf of PHI Advertising, who support all of the Best Turned Out Awards at Meydan, by their CEO, Mr. Ali Essa. Thank you ever so much. And well done to Banwar Singh.
Thank you. I'm joined here by Sultan Al-Jahuri, who's assistant trainer to his father, Majid, and they have runner number 2 here for Yas Racing, Murad. Sultan, he went down just past us before. How did he look to your eye?
First of all, we are happy to be back here in Meydan today in the Fashion Friday. After his win in Maktoum Challenge Round 1, he recovered well. We found him doing good in the training, and we decided to bring him back to Meydan. And we are hoping if he's today he can do something.
So hopeful, or is there some confidence tonight about him? Because he won his first race for you so nicely.
Yeah, he came from France and like around for 6 weeks. He did well, and we want to see him in the dirt. And he showed he have a quality.
Okay, well, good luck tonight, and I know there'll be some bigger, loftier hopes for the remainder of the season, so enjoy tonight, and I hope you go well.
Inshallah, inshallah.
So here is Murad, best turned out winner. We've heard from Sultan Al Jahuri about Murad's chances. You and I agree this is an exciting horse out here this year, but obviously great respect for the horse alongside it. We've just seen there first class. It did come down to one or the other for me.
Pretty much the same for myself as well, but I think anyone in the top 5 of the book, you could really make a case for them. Are they just doing some resaddling here with runner number 2? No, just checking something else out, perhaps. Sylvester de Souza, an absolute professional. Of course, he's leading the Jockeys Championship at the moment as well, last year's champ too. But Murad certainly caught the eye in the yard, didn't he? And a deserving winner of that best turned out.
Yeah, and he was dominant last time from Mubid. I was just impressed for a first start out here, but you know, first class is worth respecting, of course, as a Khail Classic winner. That was such a great night for Doug Watson.
Wasn't it just?
Such a great performance. You know, it's obviously been a little tough of the back of a rebuild, but he's a beautiful looking purebred Arabian. He's travelled around a good bit as well, and I think they'll have been looking forward to getting him back on the dirt, wouldn't they? Yeah,
I think so, although he's been dynamic on the turf too. But who can forget that Khail Classic win, I mean the most recent one last year, because of course he's won a couple of them, but he has a presence about him, doesn't he? You know, he has amassed 9 million dirhams. Like,
that'll do. Yeah.
And he's a 9-time winner, and Deborah Mihailoff, who owns him, he is like a pet to her, so she loves him, and I can see why.
Yeah, and look, he's 9, you know, and that is obviously in horse terms it's getting on, but in purebred Arabian terms it's not where you would be in thoroughbred terms. So we'll see how he gets on here. Obviously Murad's a 3 years younger, a 6-year-old. There are a few in there that fit that bill. Vizier would be another one. Lahab, you were mentioning to me as we were making our way out here, as just a horse that was progressing. I wasn't too far behind Vizier last time.
Yeah, it was good to see him come back from that layoff where he did finish 3rd behind Vizier, and so those two have to go into the calculations. And then what about Unleashed? He won this race last year in track record time as well. Remember that track was lightning last year, so with this track, all of the tracks, both of them last year were incredible, so it'll be good to see him bounce back as well.
Yes, that night last year was record after record after record, just kept falling. It was an amazing night. There's a bit of a tailwind up the straight, which is interesting. It's going to be helping them in the straight, so if you're on the front end there, it may be no bad thing. Loading process is well underway for race number 1. It's the first of the Group 1s, presented by Longines Maktoum Challenge R2 for purebred Arabians. Here's Pat.
And the runners start to come forward here for the Al Maktoum Challenge, round 2. First of our races here on Fashion Friday. One of the great cards of racing here in the early part of the year. Group racing from start to finish, and we kick it off here with our first of our Group 1s. Unleashed coming up into line, draws much better today. Jafar about to take his place in stall number 8 beside him. Here's Falah. Hiyab El Zaman and Joe Starr to come forward. And that'll complete the line here for the Al Maktoum Challenge for the PAs. 1900 ahead of them, ready. Lahab lifts in the air. Down now, settles and away. First class ridden with aggression, nearly won the start. Vizier works forward also. Unleashed working up, along with Lahab, Joe Starr, Tark Deer the deepest. Then came RX Burn, who's hustling for positions. Hiyab El Zaman and Falah continuing on out wider to try and continue to improve as they work their way to the 1600 metres and start to make their way off the front here. Malexis in behind them from Barkir, ridden with aggression. Then came RX Burn, who's dropping out of the ruck now. Then came Narsif, and last of all was Tardik. So out onto the back they travel. 1400 metres left to go in the first on Fashion Friday, the Al Maktoum Challenge. Vizier leads the way by a long neck to a half length. First class holds the rail in second. 3 wide and third up on the outside. Unleashed from Tark Deer, and deepest of all Al Motassim El Belushi continuing on with Falah, who's working his way towards the front of the race. Next was Hiyab El Zaman, who's going to pop out and head onto his back here, getting some cover despite being wide. Next was Lahab, Jafar and Barkir the rail. Joe Starr was in amongst them, just worse than midfield, half a length back to Malexis. A length there to RX Burn, who gets on that wide train from Tarweej. Then came Tardik, and dropping out to last now was Narsif. Down the side they go as they work off the back here. Sections have been steady, mid-13s, and First Class is starting to get warm the inside of Vizier. Comes back up to take the lead on the inside. Third and out wider was Falah. He's done it tough. He will sleep well tonight. Murad to his inside, starting to creep up also. Looks like he'll race up and ominous and be in the finish here. Next was Vizier dropping away. Lahab passes him. RX Burn next from Joe Star, Malexis, and up on the inside, Tarweej. They head into the straight. First Class is the leader, but quickly on the scene up on the outside is Murad, and he has left him for dead here at the 300-metre marker. Murad, the 6-year-old colt by Tharkov, takes the lead now by 3 lengths. Running on, Falah is running the race of his life despite being wide without cover. Jafar next, and Lahab up on the inside, but it's Murad. Murad coming away from First Class, who can't do any more, and it's Yas Racing on the board with a Group 1 here on Fashion Friday. 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 to First Class. Lahab ran a good race in third. Jafar fourth over from Falah. Look for him next start. That was a massive performance. Joe Star next from RX Burn, Narsif. Then came Tarweej, followed by Malexis, Unleashed. Vizier dropped away, joined by Tarek. Then came Bark here. The last two to cross over were Hiyab El Zaman along with Tark Deer, who was last. Well, he's made the Kahela Classic winner of last year. Looks second rate. Murad has come past First Class, who had all the favours up on the inside. They weren't going overly quick, and Murad has swung through to go on and win. He'll be a 122 rater no longer. That is a statement here ahead of the back end of the season here in Dubai. We'll be seeing him back at Meydan very shortly. Murad, a classy winner. 209.26 margins, 3 by a neck unofficially. 214 and 9 your numbers. Murad, a strong winner in the Al Maktoum Challenge.
Oh, wow, that was phenomenal. Sultan, I spoke to you before the race. You said you were a little bit nervous. Why?
That's why. Today he proved he's a high-class horse. First of all, I want to thank His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed for giving us this opportunity to have such a horse like this. His father, he was before with us, Thaqif, and his machine as his son, and we are so glad to have this horse.
So you have a strong association with the family. Tell us about the run, because Sylvester gave him a beautiful ride. You must be very happy with that.
Sylvester, he did as what he asked to do. He's a top jockey and no worry with him. Alhamdulillah, today he rode him very well, more than what he expected.
And lastly, what does this, another Group 1, mean to you in the stable?
The Group 1 is different taste. Thank you.
Hey, congratulations, soak it up, and well done, Sultan.
Unofficial numbers in the Al Maktoum Challenge, 214 and 9. Murad, your winner, 209.26. Margins confirmed, 2 3/4 by a neck, 214.9. Race 1.
So our first winner of the night was a very impressive one in Group 1 company. Please welcome back into the winners' enclosure, Silvestre de Souza on board Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2, presented by Longines winner Murad.
So Silvestre de Souza with the first win of the night, getting his eye in nice and early, of course leading the Jockeys Championship for leading owners Yes Racing. Just about to walk off the scales. Silvestre, congratulations, always so good to get the first win of the night here at headquarters, and tell us the confidence levels, how high were they coming into tonight with this horse?
And well, Magic was very confident, and so do I, and he put a good show first time when he won here, his first debut on the dirt, and we thought he would improve from the run as he has, and I'm just thrilled to open the account tonight in a good fashion, and yeah, he's a nice horse going forward, and just got the ticket for the big night.
That's right, the ticket for the big night, that's what really matters. Now, he was over the 1,600 metres last start. He felt absolutely brilliant out there over the 1,900?
Yes, absolutely. As you see when you watch the race, and I was always on the beat, hold my paws, just behind the leaders, and he responded for every effort, and yeah, I'm thrilled.
And I was speaking to Sultan just prior to the race, and then after, and he said you executed the plan perfectly, so well done.
Well, and and we ride every day, so we know the horses are around us, and we're just trying to get the numbers right.
Go well for the rest of the night, Silvestre. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
And correct weight is given in the Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2, presented by Longines. Numbers 2, 1, 4, 9, 2, 1, 4, 9. Murad, your winner, 209.26. Margins confirmed 2 3/4 by a neck. Correct weight, race 1.
Okay, it's presentation time for our Maktoum Challenge Round 2 for Purebred Arabians, presented by Longines. To make the presentation, we'll welcome to the stage Mr. Najib Kiwan, the Regional Brand Manager at Longines. Thank you ever so much for presenting our awards this evening. And the first three are in front of us for this, the Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2. First of all, please welcome to the stage the team collecting on behalf of the winning owners that are Yas Racing. For our owners, please welcome to the stage Claude Piccioni and Sultan Al Jahouri. Well done to Yas Racing, who bred this horse as well. And now please welcome to the stage a winning trainer, Majed Al Jahouri, alongside Hamdan Al Jahouri. Well done to our winning trainer, and to all connections we now welcome the winning rider who we've heard from already. Strong start to the night for Silvestre de Souza. So once again, everyone can come together for our group photo. Yas Racing, Majed Al Jahouri, Silvestre de Souza. The Al Maktoum Challenge Round 2, presented by Longines, has gone to Murad. All right, it's time for the first of the faces at the races on Fashion Friday. Your chance to win big. 500 dirham just for smiling. How about that? You can't cover your face. You got to smile. We'll pick out a winning face for you to win. I know it's tricky if you're eating. That's a lovely smile. What have we got there? And a beautiful wave. Thank you. Welcome to Fashion Friday. And who's going to be tonight's first winner? A massage and 500 dirham? Surely not. Is it you? No, it's not. We can reveal our first winner tonight. We're going back on ourselves. You obviously made a lasting impression. It is you, madam, on the left. Congratulations. 500 dirham is all yours, just for smiling. All right, the Firebreak Stakes is up next, over 1,600 metres on the dirt. First up is Fort Payne, who caused a bit of a surprise here last year on Super Saturday, but won really well under Dylan Brown McMonagle. Has Adja de Vries on board now and is making a first go for 166 days. You shouldn't overrule him by any stretch, because this trainer has had a good few successes out here last season and over the years. Nicolas Collery, Adja de Vries on board.
Runner number 2 in this smaller affair is Commissioner King, and boy oh boy is he a handsome creature. He's a striking looking horse, the 6-year-old, and Commissioner King, he's big, he looks bold, he's a front running type. He's having his 4th start for trainer Bupat Seema, this ex-Saudi runner, and I thought his run was absolutely super last time out. And I'm going to be looking towards the form line from those that have come out of the Maktoum Mile, and well, he was there second behind Imperial Emperor, and I think the winner is going to come from that race, and I think it's going to be that gorgeous guy on screen now.
And behind him was Mendelssohn Bay, who was back in 3rd on that occasion. Off the back of a good success over Mestri first up this season, consensus is he's in better form off the back of the yard move, etc. This season. And look, I think he found it tough last season. For all he wasn't on the downgrade, he just didn't necessarily progress, but did with that win at the start of the season and ran with great credit last time.
Runner number 4 is Mestri. I'm intrigued by him today. Now, Michael Costa has opted to put the tongue tie on. It goes on for the first time. He just looked to never participate in that Al Maktoum Mile last start behind Imperial Emperor, as we've already alluded to. He's lost a point from the handicapper for that, so he goes back down in the ratings to a 107. Mestri, if the tongue tie works the oracle, well, we could see somewhat of a surprise winner here potentially.
Next up is Crown Board, a very capable horse rated 105. It's just the unknown is the surface. It's a Lope de Vega, and we know how versatile that horse is as a stallion. Was in good form when winning at Chelmsford last time. This is definitely the right distance. We'll just find out a little bit more about the surface when he lines up. Great to see Jane Chapelheim with a runner back out here. Strong supporter of the Carnival over the years, and Crown Ball will emerge out of stall number 7 under Holly Doyle.
Runner number 6, you'll go from the inside gate here. Hypnus for Watnan Racing. He looks nice and relaxed in the parade ring. He's just going about his business. I think he could potentially be a smoky as well, because in these smaller races, tactics could go out the window. You never know what can happen in a small race. And Hypnus, he's only a 4-year-old. His track debut tonight, he's had a trial here. I'm wary of anything that's ex-Kenny McPeak, and he's an ex-Kenny McPeak runner, and he'll wear the blinkers. He could just be that smoky.
Big ask for Meydan Dubai here, up in grade, rated 94. Look, is capable on the surface and at the track, and has got good form over a variety of distances. Behind Commissioner King at Sharjah a few starts back, but obviously has a bit of form to make up with that horse. And the bottom rated in the field won't make life easy. Meydan Dubai, that's just 7. All right, time for the Best Turnout Award. Number 2 again it is. And that is Commissioner King, who did look fabulous here. Must have a really good chance too. Well done to Rambarupal, leading the horse around a few moments ago. Giving the horse a good old slap down the neck, and he takes home 750 dirham under the lights at Meydan. Being presented by Mr. Ali Essa, and that lovely handshake too. There we go. He's delighted with that. Thanks to PHI Advertising for their continued support of the Best Turnout Award. So we are, nearly on post time, actually, not too far away for this Firebreak Stakes. We're over the miles. We start in the chute, not the biggest field. Commissioner King, should Cassie be able to dominate, you'd have thought, and he was pretty impressive at Sharjah, and so too last time in behind Imperial Emperor, who was sent-off favourite for a World Cup.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the form of this race coming through. And I think Commissioner King, he's such a striking looking guy. He looks like he's got it all. And look at him with his ears pricked there. He's got his mind on the job. He's the one to beat. Number 2, Commissioner King.
Tied with his feet out the irons for now. There is Mendelssohn Bay, who was behind Commissioner King last time. I was really impressed with what he did first up, and I thought he might give Imperial Emperor something to think about last time. He'd come out of stall number 4. Look, he's a bit off Imperial Emperor, probably, but he had a really good 3-year-old campaign out here. And I think the signs are very positive for this season. Richard Mullen gets on very well with him, and he looks nice and relaxed down at the starts as I think they're all heading towards that chute now. There we are. It makes life interesting, Cassie, from that start, because they come out in a straight line, but then go into a little elbow, and you don't want to be caught wide for too long, ideally. I think you want to get a position if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about that drone footage as well? How good is the drone footage in this day and age? It really gives you, well, quite literally that bird's eye view of them going down slowly to the gates.
It's great if you can if you could watch the race from the drone. Like it can tell you so much about a horse's movement throughout a race.
It really can, and it shows it in a whole different perspective for someone like us who's sitting here watching it from the ground level. I must say, the wind, is it starting to die down a little bit?
Maybe a bit. It's windier than I thought it was going to be. And, it is behind them in the straight, which will have an impact. Obviously means it's in their face running down the back. But on the 5 furlong race later on, that could have a little bit of an impact anyway to those on the speed. We'll touch on Mesh Street soon enough. This is Hypnus, who is an interesting new recruit for Wathnan Racing and Hamad Al Jahani out here. Wathnan had an excellent week last week, Cassie, with a couple of winners, and they've been a real force out here this season.
And they've got a couple more chances tonight in the Al Maktoum Tumbarumba and in the Jebel Hatta Salawi, which I think is quite an interesting runner. And there is the 6 Hypnos moving about his paces nicely as they get closer to a start time here over the mile trip. And this one, he hasn't had a race day performance here on the track, and I think there's something to be said for that, but he has trialled here. He's been out and he's seen it, and we'll look to see some James Doyle magic.
This race last year where Mestry's season was curtailed, sadly, off the back of a good start to the campaign. It hasn't started quite so well this year, but he was carrying a penalty earlier on this season for that success, Group 2 success. That was when running in listed company. Then last time he was pretty well held, but he might fare a little bit better here in a slightly smaller field. So we'll see. Loading process is well underway. Don't forget, DJ Slim is performing in the Paddock Garden after racing, so stick around for that. That'll cap off your Fashion Friday very nicely. Here's Pat.
The last 3 to come forward here for the Firebreak. Commissioner King, he's the short price international to work across to the rail. Mestry coming up to his outside, fizzed up in second. Third was Mendelssohn Bay, Hypnos in fourth, tracking the leader. A length and a half, now 2 lengths to Crown Board, 3/4 of a length to Fort Payne, and 4 lengths to Meydan Dubai, who's starting to slowly reattach himself here as Commissioner King is allowed to bowl out in front for Tygo Shea. 13.99, and they've gone 11 flat there in the first of our sections. He's going along pretty quickly in front, a length and 3/4 to Mestry, who's down and settling, but Commissioner King getting further in front with every stride, and Mestry's now starting to be shaken along. Hypnos up into second position, the inside, followed by Mendelssohn Bay as they swing onto the side. It was about 3 or 4 lengths back to Fort Payne, who's joined by Crown Board, and then came Meydan Dubai. Commissioner King has